You're listening to Natural British English, and today an expression that's a proverb, an adage, and sometimes even referred to as an idiom, commonly used in the United Kingdom. Jack of all trades, master of none. There's a vocabulary checklist for this video below in the description, so don't forget to have a look after watching or listening. The full expression that we're going to look at today is Jack of all trades, master of none, but oftentimes better than master of one. At first it sounds like a simple, almost musical statement about skill. But if we think deeper, it tells us something interesting about learning, versatility, and life in general. Let's start by looking at what this adage really means. A jack of all trades is someone who has many different skills. They might not be an expert in any one area, but they know a little about a lot of things. Traditionally, people have sometimes used this phrase in a negative way, saying it implies that if you try to do everything, you can't be truly good at anything. But there is a second part of the full expression that changes the meaning. But oftentimes better than master of one. This part reminds us that being flexible, adaptable, and having a range of skills can actually be more valuable than focusing on a single speciality. Why is this phrase interesting for English learners? First, it can be considered both a proverb and an idiom. Proverb is a short common saying that expresses a general truth or advice. In this case, the adage shares wisdom about the benefits of versatility and adaptability. People can use it to reflect on work, hobbies, or even life skills. An idiom, on the other hand, is a phrase where the meaning is not obvious from the words themselves. For example, if someone says, "He's a jack of all trades," you don't need them to explain every skill this person has. You understand that the person is generally skilled in many areas, but may not be a top expert in one. Because this adage combines a literal meaning, someone with many skills, and an implied lesson, sometimes broad knowledge is better than specialization, it functions as both a proverb and an idiom. Let's think about why this idea matters today. The modern world often encourages specialization. We hear advice like, "Find your niche," or "Focus on your expertise." There is value in knowing your field very deeply. However, the world is also changing quickly. Technology, communication, and global connection make it helpful to be flexible. People who can adapt, learn new things quickly, and connect ideas from different areas often thrive. For example, imagine someone working in a small startup. They might do marketing, customer service, and design. They're not an expert in any single area, but their ability to contribute in many ways can be more important than being an expert in just one. Or consider a student who enjoys science, art, and music. They might not be a professional in any of these, but the combination of skills allows them to think creatively and solve problems in ways a single speciality expert might not. Being a jack of all trades can also be a mindset, not just a skill set. It's the idea of curiosity, exploration, and continuous learning. People who try different things, experiment, and gain varied experiences often have richer perspectives. They may notice connections between ideas that others miss. They can solve problems in innovative ways simply because they're not limited to one way of thinking. Some people might still argue that being a master of one is better. There is truth in that. Deep expertise is valuable in many fields. Surgeons, engineers, and writers often need focused skill to excel. But the full adage reminds us not to overlook the advantage of versatility. Sometimes having many skills allows a person to navigate life more successfully, adapt to change, and see opportunities that a single skilled person might miss. In conclusion, Jack of all trades, master of none, but oftentimes better than master of one, teaches an important lesson. It encourages balance. It respects the value of mastery while also celebrating curiosity, flexibility, and adaptability. For English learners, it's a useful phrase because it can be used in both casual and formal conversations. It can describe people, careers, hobbies, or approaches to learning. It reminds us that knowledge comes in many forms, and being open to learning many things can sometimes be the most rewarding approach of all. So next time you hear this adage, remember that it's not just about skills. It's about the mindset of exploration and growth. Embrace learning widely, experiment, and appreciate the diversity of your abilities. You might not be a master of just one, but you could be better than a master in ways you never imagined. Thank you for watching, reading, or listening today, and if you enjoyed this podcast, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. See you soon.